Three weakest villains in Marvel Comics. Number 3, The Wall. Ever wondered if Marvel writers occasionally lose a dare in the office kitchen? Joshua Waldemeier is the walking, or rather standing, proof that sometimes they really do. This guy was just a normal high school student working a part-time job as a cement mason. One day, he was hauling heavy cement at a local construction site. Suddenly, a giant explosion caused a massive brick wall to collapse right on his head. Most people would just go to the hospital, but Josh was somehow fused with the masonry. He woke up as a literal living brick wall. He has no arms or legs. His entire body is a solid block of bricks held together by magical mortar. His superhuman powers consist entirely of standing up and falling over. On top of that, he can mildly crush things beneath his heavy rectangular body. Since he lacks hands, his offensive moves are strictly limited to slowly toppling onto his victims. What makes it even worse is his ability to stand back up. He completely defies all known laws of physics by uprighting himself without any limbs. His most notably weak feat happened in the comic Spidey Super Stories number 8 in May 1975. The Wall decided to wreak public havoc at a Major League Baseball game. He loudly crashed into the field to ruin the big event. Spider-Man quickly intervened to stop the masonry menace. However, before the fight could escalate, the baseball umpire marched over very angrily. The official declared that only players were allowed on the field. But instead of crushing the umpire, the Wall immediately became very docile. He respected the authority of the umpire without asking any questions. He left the playing field peacefully and sat on a park bench. He ended up having a friendly conversation with Spider-Man. He gave up his life of crime because a civilian was slightly firm with him. Imagine being a supervillain who gets defeated by a basic middle management lecture. Number 2, Asbestos Lady. Someone should have told Victoria Murdoch that fashion can be dangerous, but she took it way too far. She was a gifted scientist with a deep hatred for the original android Human Torch. She realized that fighting a being made of pure fire required special gear. Victoria used her scientific expertise to design a suit made of pure asbestos. She wore a green miniskirt, purple boots, and a cape lined with the toxic material. She then embarked on a career of bank robbery and arson while looking like a very dangerous rug. Unlike other villains, Asbestos Lady possessed no innate superhuman abilities or genetic mutations. Her power set relied exclusively on her extremely hazardous and very itchy wardrobe. She armed herself with a specialized flamethrower to match her fiery enemies. She even equipped her loyal henchmen with matching asbestos-lined suits for team safety. Furthermore, she engineered firearms that fired specialized asbestos bullets at the Human Torch. Her weak feats are exceptionally numerous throughout her career. Her reliance on a non-powered gimmick meant she was easily thwarted by Toro, Human Torch's sidekick. However, her most devastating and ultimate weak feat did not come from a superhero. Her downfall came directly from her own terrible fashion choices. After years of unprotected physical exposure to the material, reality finally caught up. Her final fate was revealed in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Update 89, number 1. She was confirmed that Victoria Murdoch died at the age of 45. She contracted mesothelioma from inhaling toxic fibers in her own supervillain costume. This proves that you should always read the safety label before trying to take over the world. It's pretty hard to be a mastermind when your own pants are technically a biohazard. Number 1, Ice Cream. If you think your job is bad, just remember that some guy in a comic book turns into a dessert. Ice Cream is universally regarded as having the most useless genetic mutation in history. His real name was never revealed, but his power is exactly what you think it is. He possesses the power to physically transform his body into any flavor of ice cream. He can melt into a sticky puddle of liquid dairy to slide under doors. He can also reconstitute his frozen form to look like a person again. However, his powers offer zero offensive capabilities in a real fight. His villainous origin is rooted in severe insecurity and deep resentment towards others. He felt inadequate compared to the legendary X-Men and their cool powers. He believed his ice cream powers made him the laughingstock in the mutant community. Driven by a desperate need to destroy the team, he planned a big attack. His single disastrously weak feat occurred in the comic Obnoxio the Clown #1. He infiltrated the Xavier Institute by melting into a puddle of strawberry ice cream. He slipped past exterior security and found himself in the danger room. Professor Xavier simply activated the environmental controls to save the day. He lowered the temperature and instantly froze ice cream completely solid. The villain was defeated without anyone actually having to throw a single punch. He was basically defeated by a very expensive air conditioner and some cold air. Fighting the X-Men's hard, but I'd say it's much harder when you're a dairy product. Hopefully, the X-Men did not decide to have a Sunday party after the big battle. 4 strongest villains in Marvel Comics. Number 4, the Marquis of Death. Most people worry about getting a bad haircut, but Clyde Wycham Jr. had to worry about accidentally deleting his entire neighborhood with a stray thought. This ordinary-looking guy started his life in a very weird place called Earth 1219. In that world, there were no flying men in capes or giant purple space gods anywhere. Superheroes and villains only existed in the pages of Marvel comic books, which is exactly how our world works. However, Clyde was the one big exception to that rule because he was born as a mutant. He had the scary power to warp reality and change how everything works just by thinking about it. One day, he accidentally used his powers to bring the dead father back to life. The sight was so terrifying that his mother lost her mind and hit him with a heavy metal candelabra. That injury caused severe brain damage and left him in a very quiet catatonic state. Because he could not control his mind, his power started leaking out like a broken faucet. He started pulling villains straight out of comic books and plopping them into the real world. This caused massive chaos until the heroes from the main Marvel world, Earth 616, showed up to help. Reed Richards, the leader of the Fantastic Four, decided to bring Clyde back to his own universe for safety. He locked Clyde inside a top-secret government building known as Area 87. To keep him calm, Richards created a fake dream world inside Clyde's head. Clyde spent years thinking he was living a normal life in a quiet house. That peace lasted until a bunch of bad guys, including Norman Osborn, broke into the facility. They wanted to turn Clyde into a living weapon for their own evil plans. The violence of the break-in shattered the fake dream and woke Clyde up. He was suddenly awake in a very violent world and filled with bad energy. He wiped out all the villains who woke him up with a single bored thought. After that, he left Earth 616 and started traveling through the multiverse for 1 billion years. He learned every type of dark magic and cosmic trick that exists in space. He stopped being human and took on a brand new name, the Marquis of Death. He became a giant monster who travels to different universes just to blow them up for fun. His powers are so huge that they are basically impossible to measure with normal math. He can control time, space, and energy across millions of different realities at once. He can even call up alternate versions of heroes to fight for him like collectible toys. One of his wildest moments happened in Fantastic Four number 567. The Marquis went to Earth 616 to visit his old student, the famous Dr. Doom. He decided that Doom was a total failure and needed to be punished. To show off, he waved his hand and made the sun go supernova instantly. This huge explosion was enough to wipe out every single planet in the entire solar system. Right after that, he summoned millions of versions of the Avengers and X-Men to attack the Fantastic Four. Then, in Fantastic Four number 569, he destroyed an entire parallel universe with a single wave of his arm. He erased every person and every planet from existence like he was hitting the delete button. In the end, he treats entire galaxies like they're cheap plastic toys that could be thrown in the trash. It turns out that having 1 billion years of free time and infinite power is a very bad combination for everyone else. Number 3, God Emperor Doom. If you ever feel like you have a big ego, just remember that Victor Von Doom once decided he was literally the center of the universe. This guy has always been one of the smartest and most dangerous people in the Marvel world. His biggest moment came when he transformed into the legendary God Emperor Doom. This happened during a massive cosmic disaster called the Incursions. The other multiverse was collapsing because parallel universes were slamming into each other. If two Earths collided, both of their universes would be completely destroyed. Most heroes tried to stop it with science, but Doom chose a much more brutal path. He teamed up with Owen Reese, who is also known as the superpowered Molecule Man. Together, they went into a secret realm to find the beings who were destroying everything. Doom found out that these beings had put a version of Molecule Man in every single universe. These people were basically living bombs designed to go off at the exact same time. Doom used his genius brain to gather thousands of these Molecule Men for a trap. He made them all explode all at once right in the faces of the cosmic creators. The massive blast killed the creators and left all their power floating around. Molecule Man acted like a giant straw and sucked up all that infinite power for Doom. When the multiverse was gone, Doom used his new god powers to save the leftover pieces of reality. He sewed these broken bits together to create a giant patchwork planet called Battle World. As the God Emperor, he ruled this world as its only creator and its only god. His powers were way beyond anything else in the history of Marvel cosmic hierarchy. He could rewrite reality and change the laws of physics just by wanting it to happen. He created a police force made of different versions of Thor from across the multiverse. He even messed with everyone's memories so they thought he had always been their god. What I think is even crazier, he made Doctor Strange his personal sheriff to help him keep everyone in line. God Emperor Doom was not just a king, he was the only thing keeping reality from vanishing. If he stopped thinking about Battleworld for 1 second, everything would just stop existing. We saw how strong he truly was during the Secret Wars event of 2015. In number 4, some surviving heroes tried to challenge his supreme authority. Cyclops showed up with the full power of the cosmic Phoenix Force inside him. He blasted Doom with fire that could burn through entire solar systems. Doom just walked through the flames and snapped the neck of Cyclops with one hand. Another crazy moment happened in Secret Wars issue number 8, involving the Mad Titan. Thanos showed up and started bragging about how he was also a god with his gauntlet. Doom offered him a job as a low-level boss, but Thanos said something very rude. Doom reached out and ripped the entire skeleton and spine out of Thanos with one quick move. He turned one of the scariest villains in history into a pile of ash in a second. He really showed that having a fancy metal glove does not mean much when the other guy literally owns the air you breathe. Number 2, the Beyonders. Buckle up because we're about to meet the guys who make the rest of the universe look like a bunch of tiny ants. The Beyonders are also known as the Ivory Kings, and they are incredibly scary cosmic beings. They do not live in our universe or even in the normal multiverse at all. Instead, they stay in a place called the Beyond Realm, which has its own weird rules. For a long time, people thought there was only one Beyonder who liked to play with heroes. Turns out, that guy was just a little baby compared to the rest of his species. The adult Beyonders are so big and strong that they view our entire existence as a science project. They are the ones who created the cosmic cubes that heroes use to change reality. They dropped those cubes into our world just to see what the tiny humans would do with them. Eventually, they decided the experiment was over and everything needed to be deleted. They are the masterminds who planned the incursions to destroy the entire multiverse. Because they live outside of everything, normal magic and science do not work on them. They do not have normal feelings, and they do not care about being good or evil. They are basically the ultimate engineers who can unmake all of creation without breaking a sweat. We saw the full extent of their path of destruction in New Avengers number 30. This comic came out in 2015 and showed how they killed the universe. They started by hunting down the Celestials, who are giant space gods that create life. The Beyonders killed every single Celestial in every single universe at the exact same time. After that, they went after the biggest concepts of our reality, eternity, and infinity. These beings are the literal versions of time and space that keep the universe moving. The Beyonders murdered them easily, which caused the universe to physically start falling apart. However, their most impressive feat was taking down the living tribunal himself. In the Marvel world, the Living Tribunal is the supreme judge who listens only to the Creator. He is supposed to be the most powerful guard in the entire Marvel structure. In New Avengers number 30, only 3 adult Beyonders fought the Living Tribunal. The fight was so huge it tore the fabric of reality into tiny little pieces. In the end, the 3 Beyonders actually managed to kill the Golden Judge. They left his giant 3-faced body on the moon as a warning to everyone else. Their power is so high that Doctor Doom had to blow up the multiverse just to hurt them. It's pretty hard to win a fight when your opponent views your entire life as a boring school project. For me, these guys deserve the number 2 spot because they basically treated the Guardians of Existence like they were just some annoying bugs on a windshield. Number 1, Astral Regulator Thanos. If you thought a guy turning into a god was impressive, wait until you see Thanos steal the keys to the entire office. The Mad Titan is famous for his love of shiny gems and ultimate power. He's used the Infinity Gauntlet and the Heart of the Universe to cause a lot of trouble. But his most terrifying version showed up in a trilogy written by the legendary Jim Starlin. To understand this version of Thanos, you have to know about the Astral Regulators. According to this story, the supreme creator of Marvel created many different multiverses. He did not want them to crash into each other, so he made these special anchors. These Astral Regulators are hidden artifacts that keep each reality in its own proper place. They were never meant for anyone to find, especially not a purple guy with a bad attitude. But Thanos used his massive brain and obsession to track one of them down. He searched the darkest corners of existence until he found the regulator for his multiverse. This item is way more powerful than any gauntlet or spell ever created. It allowed Thanos to absorb and assimilate any entity he wants into his own body. When he uses it, he does not just win a fight against an enemy, he sucks their power and their entire existence into himself to make them go away. He systematically started replacing the actual foundations of reality with his own personality. This terrifying campaign is shown in the book Thanos, The Infinity Ending from 2019. He started in absorbing death, eternity, infinity, and the giant Galactus. This meant he now owned the concepts of dying, time, space, and destruction. Next, he went after the Living Tribunal, who, as we discussed earlier, is the judge of the entire multiverse. Thanos used the Regulator to absorb the judge and become the new boss of everything. He held all of existence inside his own mind and could change it however he liked. He even fought versions of himself from the future and the past at the same time. But his biggest move happened at the very end of the story. Thanos decided to go to the highest level of existence to find the one above all. This entity is the literal manifestation of the creator of the whole Marvel brand. Thanos used the power of the Regulator to engage this supreme creator deity in a fight. In a move that broke every rule, Thanos actually absorbed the creator into himself. By doing this, Thanos became the supreme being of everything that ever was or will be. He replaced the author and took total control over every single atom in existence. He achieved a level of power that makes the Marquis of Death look like a beginner. He stands as the biggest and most powerful version of a villain that has ever existed in a comic. It's a good thing he does not exist in our world, where he might be all wearing purple outfits right now. That's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers, and see you in the next one.